In today's video, we have some NHL signings to discuss, including a college free agent signing, some NHL player extensions, as well as Tampa Bay Lightning head coach Jon Cooper getting locked up on a multi-year deal. We'll get into all the latest coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as I mentioned off the top today, we do have some NHL signings to discuss, including Tampa Bay Lightning locking up their head coach, and very successful one at that, Jon Cooper, to a multi-year contract extension. Now the full terms of the contract have not been released or confirmed, but it is believed to be a multi-year contract. Now, not too long ago, we discussed the future of Jon Cooper with the Tampa Bay Lightning as the head coach there in one of our offseason rumor videos, discussing things we might see in the offseason. And we were kind of wondering if this extension was kind of waiting on and depending on the success of Tampa Bay in the playoffs. Obviously, they're having a record-breaking regular season. Certainly by many, the odds-on favorite to win this year's Stanley Cup. They certainly are having a fantastic year. All their top guys are really coming through for them. There should be lots of hardware won individually, at least by a lot of those players. Like I said, they do stand a great chance to be Stanley Cup champions this season. So many had wondered, with all that success they've had in the last number of years during Jon Cooper's time with Tampa, would the extension be contingent on playoff success? And really, many also believe that it's kind of Stanley Cup or bust for this team this year, as then you have that much regular season success. Anything short of a Stanley Cup kind of seems like a failure in some capacities. But obviously that's not the case here. General Manager Julien Brisebois and the remainder of the Lightning staff obviously believe that Cooper is still the guy there to be the head coach and should be for a number of years. He has great relationships with many of those players. Obviously, Cooper started off with their American Hockey League affiliate before he was promoted up to the big club, and many of those players played under him at that level as well. So he's got a long-standing, great relationship with many of these players. He's been there a long time. They've had nothing but success. There was only one year that they missed the playoffs, and that was largely due to some pretty significant injuries. That was one of the times when Steven Stamkos was down for a big chunk of the year. They had Ben Bishop hurt at some key times of the year as well. And overall, things just didn't work out for them in their favor in that respect and kind of caused them to miss the playoffs. Otherwise, the team has been incredibly successful. So he will be locked up here for at least a few more years. Like I said, the exact number of years or dollars have not been released to the public, so that remains to be a little bit unclear. But either way, he's not going anywhere for the foreseeable future. He's a great coach. He's had a lot of success there, and it certainly seems like the right thing to do for the Lightning organization. In other NHL news, we have a few other players signing extensions to remain with their clubs here for the next couple of years, including the Philadelphia Flyers signing veteran forward Michael Raffl to a 2-year deal valued at $1.6 million per season. Obviously, that is a bit of a pay cut for him based on what he had previously been earning with the Flyers, but obviously his production has certainly tailed off from a few years ago when he was a 20-goal scorer. But the Flyers do seem to obviously still view him as a pretty decent bottom six guy who can work hard and produce and contribute in other ways. So they obviously feel with new GM there, Chuck Fletcher, that he's a part of the solution moving forward, at least in a veteran bottom six type of role. Be interesting to see what other moves the Flyers make. They do have a lot of young talent that they're likely anxious to try to get into that lineup. So obviously they're going to have to make some decisions on who goes and who stays this summer to see what kind of spots open up for some of their youngsters. Now, in other news, the Boston Bruins have signed forward Paul Carey to a 2-year extension as well. Now, of course, Paul Carey's mainly an American Hockey League player. This contract is a 2-way deal. We'll pay him $700,000 at the NHL level for any games he's able to play for the Bruins. Otherwise, the American Hockey League value pays him $375,000. Now, he's over 30 years of age now. He's a veteran guy, been around the pro hockey world for a while. Mostly, like I said, an American Hockey League player, and is pretty good depth piece and leader for their American Hockey League club in Providence. So certainly that's the bigger part of the reason here for that signing, is to help them lead the younger players in the minors. But should they need a call-up for a veteran guy that has a little bit more experience, they can rely on him for that as well. So like I said, it's a 2-year, 2-way contract for Carey and the Boston Bruins. The Buffalo Sabres have signed Casey Fitzgerald, who was originally a 2016 third-round selection. He's a right-shot defenseman who was playing at Boston College. He's completed his 4 seasons there and has now signed his pro contract with the Buffalo Sabres. Casey Fitzgerald is a pretty decent two-way defenseman, put up some decent offensive numbers at Boston College as well, and he likely will get started with the Sabres American Hockey League affiliate. We also have another NHL extension to discuss, and that's left-shot defenseman for Chicago, Carl Dahlstrom, who split basically the past 2 years between the NHL and American Hockey League affiliate. However, at this point in time, they've signed him to a 2-year contract extension worth $850,000 at the NHL level. The information we have on the contract looks as though it might be a one-way deal, but I am trying to confirm that to see if it's a one-way or two-way contract. Obviously, if it's a two-way contract, it allows the Hawks to pay him a lower salary should he end up back in the American Hockey League during that 2-year period. However, the Hawks do seem relatively pleased with his play and are obviously happy to keep him on board here for a few more years. The other signing here today that I wanted to discuss with you is an undrafted college free agent. Yeah, one more guy leaving BU. We had a mass exodus the other day with many players signing with their pro teams. And this one here is obviously a little bit of a different scenario where he was an undrafted free agent, but Bobo Carpenter has signed with the New York Islanders. Now, he goes by Bobo, but his legal name is Robert. He is the son of former NHL player Robert Carpenter, who was a longtime member of the Washington Capitals and New Jersey Devils. He did miss some time this past year at BU, only appearing in 27 games, but putting up 19 points and had a pretty solid 4-year career. Got off to a little bit of a slow start in his first season, but years 2 and 3 especially were more productive for him, and he's had a pretty solid collegiate career with BU. Now goes on to the New York Islanders. Of course, Carpenter's going to have his hands full battling for position there with a lot of many other Islanders prospects. They've drafted really well over the past few years, and they do have a lot of up-and-coming forward prospects that he can battle with to try to get himself an NHL job. But either way, Carpenter should be a pretty good fit there and battle hard with the New York Islanders. He's certainly a hard-working player, and see if he can get himself into the NHL. Boston University appears to be losing yet another player, as Shane Bowers apparently has informed the school that he will not be returning for the upcoming season, and his intentions are to sign his pro contract with the Colorado Avalanche. Now, Bowers was originally a first-round pick of the Ottawa Senators and was acquired by the Avalanche in the Matt Duchene trade. Now, this season wasn't great for Shane Bowers, wasn't great for BU overall, really. Both the individual and team had down seasons for sure. Shane Bowers was expected to kind of keep developing and put up some better numbers, take on a bigger role. That really didn't happen this year. He ended up being relegated to more of a lower role with the team. His offensive numbers were down. He did play for Team Canada at the World Junior Championships, but was not one of their bigger stars. He does have a ton of potential, but he needs to kind of get things back on track here with his development. It's not quite clear as of yet because we don't have an official announcement from the Avalanche where he's actually going to go, if it's going to kick in, and they're going to let him play any games down the stretch here, or if it'll start for next season. But either way, Shane Bowers is turning pro, will be a member of the Avalanche organization here in the short term. Now, staying with college players, it's also been known that Oliver Wahlstrom, one of the top draft picks from last year's draft of the New York Islanders, has also informed his school, Boston College, that he won't be returning after only one season. We haven't had any information from the Islanders organization to suggest that they're close to signing him to a new contract here for his ELC. However, it has also been speculated that he might be heading overseas and possibly could play his season over in the SHL in Sweden, as obviously his father is of Swedish descent, so they do have some roots over there. So there's not quite clear exactly what's going on with Oliver Wahlstrom. Really, for the past 4 or 5 years, he has committed and decommitted from a number of schools and kind of changed his plans on how he's going to take his development in future here many times. So this isn't a big shock for Wahlstrom to be changing gears here yet again. So I guess we'll remain to be seen here if he signs with the Islanders or possibly goes overseas and plays in the SHL. Not quite sure exactly what his plans are. However, we more likely will find out soon enough, and we'll update you here once we have that information. But we do know for sure he's not returning to school to Boston College for next season. So, of course, as always, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section on these signings. Let me know what you think, and we can continue the conversation in the comment section. If you're new to the channel here, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up before you go. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.